Is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness hiding Marvel's next big super team? The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little, but this spring we're about to learn a whole lot more in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Ever since Doctor Strange first glimpsed those 14,605 possible futures in Avengers Infinity War, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been edging closer and closer to bringing the multiverse to life. Wanda Maximoff heard echoes of her conjured children from another reality where they still exist in the final moments of WandaVision. Loki introduced the MCU to the concept of branch timelines, parallel realities, and variants. And Spider-Man No Way Home took things a step further as Peter Parker and Doctor Strange's attempts to meddle with the fabric of the multiverse itself went awry, doing seemingly irreparable damage in the process. And now we'll be journeying deep into the heart of the multiverse itself as Doctor Strange desperately tries to repair the damage that's been done in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And while we know that he'll be accompanied by the likes of Wong, the reigning Sorcerer Supreme, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, and newcomer America Chavez, a new theory suggests that he'll get some help from another super team with deep comic book roots, the Defenders. And no, not the ones best known for their hallway fights on Netflix. Rather, we're going to explain this theory in just a moment, and if it winds up being correct, well, that could be considered a spoiler. So if you're worried about that sort of thing, find the nearest sling ring portal on out of here.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, let's get into it, shall we? While everybody likes to joke about the Marvel snipers that ensure that people like Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo don't leak plot details in advance, most of Marvel's carefully guarded beans are spilled by toy manufacturers and marketing firms who don't account for film delays and schedule changes. And that's exactly the source of this new theory: promotional artwork and toys for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Based on the trailer, we knew that we'd be getting at least two versions of Doctor Strange in this movie. The one from the main MCU timeline, who's probably dreading the next time he sees Wong after what went down in Spider-Man No Way Home, and the evil Doctor Strange, aka Strange Supreme, who may or may not be the same power-hungry version we encountered in What If. However, as expected with something called the Multiverse of Madness, there is another variant of Doctor Strange that will be joining the fray as well. Referred to as Defender Strange, this ponytail sporting version of Marvel's Sorcerer Supreme is sporting a fan-favorite costume from the Matt Fraction and Terry Dodson 2011 Defenders comics. Based on Hasbro's Marvel Legends figure, the details from the comics track as well. The costume is black and red with no cloak of levitation. But more interesting is the description on the box. Doctor Strange is Earth's foremost magical defender, safeguarding our dimension against supernatural threats from across the multiverse. And while the same could be said of all versions of Doctor Strange, the fact that he's referred to specifically as Defender Strange and that his costume is straight from the Defenders comics has fans speculating that we could meet a version of this superhero team in the movie as well. In fact, if you look closely in the trailer around the 42-second mark, you can spot this ponytailed version of Doctor Strange. He's flying towards one of America Chavez's star-shaped portals that let her traverse the multiverse. It suggests that at the bare minimum, we'll at least visit Defender Strange's reality. And based on villains like Gargantos, which is really just Shuma Gorath by another name so they don't have to pay the Robert E. Howard estate, that evil Doctor Strange, and rumors of Wanda Maximoff Breaking Bad, our heroes will need all the help they can get. So who are the Defenders? Well, they're very different than the version from the Netflix Marvel universe that included Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Created by Roy Thomas and Ross Andru, the Defenders first appeared in Marvel Feature number 1. Assembled by Doctor Strange, they were meant to be a last line of defense assembled to stop threats the Avengers could not, which usually meant things of an extra-dimensional or magical nature. The original version of the Defenders had just 3 members: Doctor Strange, Namor the Submariner, and the Incredible Hulk. Although they managed to save the day, none of them seemed to like the idea of being on a team very much. It's less of an organized team than an informal alliance, but nevertheless, they decide to call themselves the Defenders should they ever need to reunite. And boy howdy, do they ever reunite. Over the years, the Defenders have assembled on numerous occasions on an ad hoc basis to stop all manner of otherworldly threats. Their ranks have included the likes of Silver Surfer, Valkyrie, Daredevil, Black Knight, and countless others. And considering the amount of members in that group that have already appeared in the MCU, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness could easily include variants of said heroes if they chose to do so. Plus, with reports that Tenoch Huerta will be playing Namor the Submariner in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, this could be a cool way to introduce him to the MCU before a much meatier role in the Black Panther sequel. Now, various alleged plot leaks from unscrupulous sites claim that Defender Strange is from a reality where Thanos won in Avengers Endgame. With half the universe dusted and the Avengers gone, this version of Strange assembled a new team of superpowered people to protect the Earth, which he then dubbed the Defenders. Of course, based on the footage from the trailer, it looks like Defender Strange is being sucked into one of America Chavez's portals, so maybe if we do see the Defenders, it'll just be a brief cameo before this version of Doctor Strange joins the Council of Cumberbatches, or whatever we're going to call all these Stevens on their merry multiversal mission. Speaking of the multiverse, though, we should touch on another potential spanner in the works, and that is Baron Mordo. Stephen Strange's former friend turned bitter rival was last seen glurping up magical powers from sorcerers who misused their abilities in his eyes. And it seems like he'll be hot on the trail of not only Doctor Strange from the main MCU timeline, but his more nefarious variants as well. Now, according to the description for Hasbro's Marvel Legends figure, this version is known as Master Mordo. Mordo has gone rogue since leaving Kamar-Taj hunting other sorcerers for breaking the laws of reality, and is never far off the trail of Doctor Strange. Now, in the trailer, we see Mordo doing battle with the main reality version of Doctor Strange, but also teasing that Strange Supreme, his evil variant, is a much bigger problem in the multiverse than our arrogant hero who gives no fucks. So how would Mordo know so much about what's going on in the multiverse at large if it's a concept about which we and the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj know frighteningly little? Well, one explanation is that this Mordo might not be the one from the main MCU timeline. However, the explanation that I prefer is one that ties into another theory about the presence of a secretive supergroup known as the Illuminati, who could be appearing in this film. Now, for those who don't know, the Illuminati in the Marvel Universe were created by Brian Michael Bendis and Steve McNiven in 2005's New Avengers #7. They were a top-secret organization of the most powerful, influential people in the Marvel Universe who met privately to shape the course of events in the superhuman world to decide on the best path forward. Now, the original group consisted of Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Professor X, Reed Richards, Namor, and Tony Stark. And together they made decisions about everything from launching the Hulk into space to deciding how to deal with the impending end of the multiverse, which sounds pretty thematically appropriate. So naturally, it makes sense that another such group might be involved in the events of the Multiverse of Madness. Much like we saw in What If, when the fabric of the multiverse is threatened, the multiverse tends to respond in kind by assembling a group of like-minded people to stop whatever's threatening it. And while one might be hoping for a live-action version of the Guardians of the Multiverse like we saw in What If, it seems like we might be getting a much shadowier group of people that isn't afraid to do what needs to be done, especially if Strange Supreme or a chaos magic-wielding Wanda Maximoff threatens their plans. As for which characters could comprise the MCU's version of the Illuminati, it's honestly a guessing game at this point. I mean, there are rumors of everyone from Captain Carter to Professor X to Monica Rambeau appearing in this movie as well. And I would go so far as to argue that if the Illuminati are appearing in this film, Baron Mordo would make a fantastic candidate given what we've seen so far and what we know about his character in the Multiverse of Madness. If nothing else, it's a fantastic way to stunt cast and melt our brains even further. Of course, you should take all of this with a Hulk-sized grain of salt because for now, they're still just rumors, it's speculation, it's a way for us to fill the Spider-Man No Way Home shaped hole in our hearts. But with the massive scale of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and the implied ramifications this movie will have for the MCU moving forward, it seems entirely within the realm of possibility. For now, though, we'll just have to wait and see if we meet the Defenders, the Illuminati, or three Wongs standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat when we finally venture inside the Multiverse of Madness on May 6th, 2022. In the meantime, though, let us know, what do you think? Who should be on the MCU's version of the Defenders? Who do you think the real villain of Doctor Strange 2 will be, and why? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.